Hello lovely people, did you miss me? I missed you guys. I'm not gonna do the whole sorry I've been gone 3 weeks thing because you already know that I am. So I'm just gonna jump right into the 20th century book tag, which was created by Leslie, WordsofaReader. And I was tagged by the lovely Nicola over at Robotnik. As soon as I saw this tag, I knew I wanted to do it, but I wanted to be patient and wait and see if I got tagged. Basically, this tag is choosing a book from each decade of the 20th century. Most of the books that I own or have read, I thought were from probably the 90s and the 2000s, but this video proves otherwise, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. For the 1900s, I have Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. This is kind of cheating because this isn't really my book, this is my sister-in-law's book. It's one of her favorite books and she recommended that I read it. The next book is also a little bit cheating because I knew that I wanted to do this tag and I noticed that I didn't have anything for the 1910s. So I purchased this beautiful penguin threadless edition of The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. You know. Published in 1911. I haven't read this either. I started reading this, but you'll notice that that's a theme, but it's very pretty. For the 1920s, I'm sure this is the 1920s, I didn't want to go with the stereotypical Great Gatsby, so I went with The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, and I believe it's like the 4th book in her Hercule Poirot series, and it was published in 1926. For the 1930s, I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I've had several people recommend this to me, and it's oftentimes compared to Jane Eyre, which I read earlier this year and absolutely loved. Like I said, haven't read it, but it was published in 1938. For the 1940s, I have another highly recommended book, and it is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I don't know how many people I've seen recommend this book lately, but there's been several. This book was published in 1946. For the 1950s, I have this beautiful edition of Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, and it was published in 1959. Just barely made it, but I really love this edition. Again, this is another book that has come highly recommended by several people, so I should get on that. For the 1960s, I have this library copy of A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. You might recognize this from the library book sale several months ago. I still haven't read this, but it also comes highly recommended, and it represents the 1960s because it was published in 1962 and also received the Newbery Award in 1962. 1970s, I have Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut, an author who alone has been recommended to me by a couple of people who I highly admire, so I should get to reading this since I own it. It was published in 1973. For the 1980s, I have another book that you might recognize from one of my more recent book hauls, and it is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel, and it was published in 1989. And the last book you haven't seen, because I just got it recently, I found it at a charity shop, and I was very happy to find it because my library's copy is missing, and it is for the 1990s. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it is The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. Maybe you can see it like that. I've heard really great things about this book. Even people that I know that aren't avid readers have really liked this book and have suggested it to me. So when I found it for like 50 cents, I had to pick it up. So that's the 1990s. And thus concludes the 20th century book tag. I know this tag is like 3 months old, but I thought in honor of the 3-month anniversary of this tag, I would tag 3 people, and I'm going to tag Amy in the Blue Box, Jossie, and Ginny at Adultish Books. I don't know if you guys have the books for this. I am actually sure that you do, but hope that I see a video from you guys very soon, and hopefully I will be back with a video sooner than 3 weeks. If you guys have read any of those books, you should get on my case and tell me to read them, because this video really could have been titled Books That Susie Needs to Read. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.